All right, let's take a look. I have 5 examples here, all asking the same question for a limit and the same value of -3, but we're going to see that we get completely different answers. So remember, in order to have a limit, you need to approach the same y value from the left and from the right. So for the first one, as the limit of f of x approaches -3, we see if we come from the left or if we come from the right, when x is -3, in both situations, we get an answer of 4. They both approach 4. In this situation as well, f of -3 equals 4. That means when the x value is -3, what's the y value? But let's look at the second one, how it's just a little bit different. Our limit from the left, as we approach an x value of -3, gives us a y value of 4, and we get the same thing when we approach it from the right. So our limit would be 4. But here, if we're saying what's the y value when x is -3, there is no y value. It does not exist. Let's look at the third one. Same thing. If we are coming from the left, if we are coming from the right, in both situations, we get to a y value of 4. But because of the removable discontinuity, we can see that our y value when x is -3 gives us a value of -2. So 3 problems that have the same limit, but completely different answers when looking at finding the dependent variable when the independent is -3. Now remember, in order for a graph to have a limit, it must approach the same value from the left as it does from the right. When we approach -3 from the left here, we get a value of 4. But when we approach -3 from the right, we get a value of -2. So this one doesn't have a limit. This one does not exist because it does not approach the same y value on either side. But we can also answer what f of -3 is. In this situation, when x is -3, we have a y value of -2. Now, let's take a look here. Okay, in this situation, when we approach -3 from the left, we get a y value of 4. When we approach it from the right, we get a y value of -2. So we do not have a limit, no limit. But f of -3 here isn't even really on those two graphs. It's a point all by itself at 1. So again, I'm trying to show you that for it to be a limit, it must approach the same y value from either side. And trying to show you also that all these different ways to ask the same question with different graphs.